Okay. Back at it. Hey, listen. In all reality, it is a sad day.
Yep.
When this podcast airs, turkey season in Iowa is over.
Yes. Still going in Wisconsin. Yep.
Big old bummer.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
Listen, by the time this airs, we still have got one opportunity left. We've got one last hurrah that we're going to try to see if we can get you on.
Yep. One last hunt.
Yep, one last hunt. We'll see how she goes.
Yep.
But the idea of the podcast today is we're going to kind of talk a little bit of recap of turkey season. We're also going to talk about one of the things that I think we'll just jump right in.
Sure.
Is I think I mentioned this to you a couple hunts ago. We were kind of, you're in the blind, you're getting a little discouraged. It's like, oh, dang. And I made a comment about how you have to keep hunting as hard the last day as you did the first day.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is a tendency as the season goes along that if the season was like a dirt bike and you've got the throttle all the way down, as season goes on, you kind of start to let up a little bit.
Right.
And I think that you got to keep hunting hard.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to keep the throttle down. When it really comes down to it, and we talked about this in the blind that day, that I think that honestly you have a better chance towards the end of a hunt than you maybe did at the beginning.
Right.
For the fact that at the end of a hunt, you've got the experience of the days or weeks of hunting that you've done to really hone in on the type of hunting, where you're hunting, how you're hunting, where the first day you're kind of like, well, let's see how this goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And so I think that sometimes you can kind of start to eliminate some of the numbers and really concentrate on the number that you're trying to roll.
Yeah, exactly.
Where at the beginning, you're just kind of like, well, let's see what works. You know what I mean? So I've actually seen this happen a lot in my own hunting. The perfect example of this for me was I did a black bear hunt in Northwest Ontario a long time ago. And it was a 5-day deal. And I brought my recurve bow, which seemed like at the time, it seemed like a good idea. I think the outfitter was kind of questioning what I was doing there with a recurve. But I brought a recurve bow and I was bound and determined to kill a black bear with a recurve bow. And that it was either with a recurve or nothing. And so I went day 1, 2, 3, 4, and I had seen a few bears and smaller bears, and it's just not what I was looking for. Or was looking for a high percentage shot, and just that didn't present itself.
Right.
And so I hadn't shot a bear, and then it was the 5th day, and I was like, well, and I was doing all day sits. A lot of times, like early or late summer, early fall black bear hunts. This was in Northwest Ontario. They do a lot of afternoon hunting and not as much morning hunting. Well, I was trying to maximize every opportunity I had, so I was hunting all day. And on the 5th day, it just didn't work out. And I had the opportunity to stay one more day. And I kind of knew that on the 5th day too. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just keep hunting hard. And of all things, on the 6th day, the final evening, after an all-day sit, I swear couldn't have been 5 to 10 minutes before last light.
Yeah.
Here walked in this black bear.
Yep.
And gave me a shot, and I made the shot, and the bear ran off, and boom, I'm sitting there or standing, and I sat down in this tree stand. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just killed my black bear.
Right.
I mean, it couldn't have been any more down to the wire.
Yeah.
And so I feel like in that moment, it really cemented for me that, man, you just got to keep hunting hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And it honestly, the feeling of satisfaction and success when you do hunt hard all the way to the end and it does work out, man, there's not much that is sweeter than that.
No.
But I think the other thing to say with that as well is that if you do hunt hard all the way through and it doesn't work out, at least you left it all on the field.
Yeah.
And I said this to you actually in the truck yesterday. I feel for me, and I've noticed this when I used to guide, because again, it feels like hunting by default, but at a certain point, it's not all my decision to make. It's not my hunt.
Right.
I'm there to help guide a person, but it's their decision if they want to keep going or they want to stop or they want to go to town or they want to try to hunt all day or not hunt all day or they want to take a nap or they're just like, man, I just want to go back and hang out with my buddies. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, the feeling of regret outweighs the feeling of success.
Yeah.
This bothers me more than the happiness I feel when it works out.
Yeah,
if that
exactly.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Maybe that
no,
sounds
definitely.
backwards.
No, that makes sense.
And I can think back on hunts where guys kind of gave up.
Yeah.
Or they just didn't hunt as hard.
Yeah.
And that still bothers me.
Right.
It wasn't even my hunt.
Yeah.
I remember those things. I would rather have left it all in the field. And there has been seasons past, last year, the year before that, where I've been trying to shoot a lot of deer. But it's not that I'm not looking for a great buck too, but I know that I was being true to myself and I hunted hard all the way through.
Yeah.
And when the season was over, if I shot the number of deer I was looking to shoot, or if I did or didn't shoot the buck I was after, I could hang my hat on the fact that I was happy with how hard I tried.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we hunted at BBD Outfitters a couple years back. Buddy and I had the opportunity to go. It was supposed to be Buddy and Scott couldn't work it out, so he was really gracious enough to let me go.
Yeah.
And same thing, was a 5-day hunt. And Buddy was real fortunate. I think he shot his on like the 4th day. And then I hunted the 5th day, and then we had an opportunity to stay, and we were doing long all-day sits then too on the 5th day and on the 6th day. On the 6th day, we went in on this spot, walked way in, set a set, in the rain, like just getting soaking wet. Like it was just a big mess.
Yeah.
Not on the outfitter's fault. It was just a messy day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we're still hunting hard. And I remember walking back to Chuck, and I was with John Bergman, was running camera. Super cool dude, like super cool dude.
Yeah.
And look at him and be like, well, left it all on the field, man. And he's like, yeah, we did. And it's like, we left no stone unturned. He's like, you can't be mad about that. And you can't be.
No.
And I still look back at that hunt, even right now as I'm talking about it, it feels like it was a success. You know, I have no regrets.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I feel like I've been really trying to pour that onto you right now. It's like, hey man, listen, we got to just keep hunting hard.
Yeah.
Got to keep hunting hard. I used to have a poster when I was a kid, and it said, the harder you work, the luckier you get.
Right.
It was a basketball poster, but I remember that it was like outlined over the image of these people playing basketball. The harder you work, the luckier you get.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And so you just got to keep hunting hard. And I think you've really done that. And if we get a turkey, we get one. And if we don't, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But we can really hang our hat on that.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Moral of the story is don't give up. You know, like I said, I've got buddies. I know I'm kind of going on a real rant here, but had buddies in years past, same thing. They go into the beginning of the year and they're just gung-ho to get out there and deer hunt or whatever it is. And halfway through the season, there's some sort of adversity. Something doesn't go their way, and all of a sudden it's like, well, I'm done. Oh, I'm so frustrated with this whole thing. I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
I'm quitting. I'm not going to go this morning. I'm not going to hunt all day. I'm just going to, well, whatever. You know what I mean? There's excuses. And those excuses are there for all of us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you have to put that aside.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Sorry. I don't know why, but I thought that camera wasn't running. But it is. In the back of my mind, I was like, oh, crap, I didn't turn that one on.
I got her.
But you did. You were on top of it.
I got her.
You were way ahead of the game. So, yeah. I mean, you just never know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's been a really, really great season. It's been a lot of fun. It's been so much fun. I feel like it seems like every hunt we're in birds, and it's good experiences, and there's been so many times where we've been so close.
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah.
And part of it is, kind of me being selfish. I went into the season not wanting to shoot a Jake. I wanted to shoot it with a bow.
You want to shoot a Tom?
Shoot a Tom with the bow, if I would have decided differently, we for sure could have probably shot at a Jake. I don't know if I would have killed it.
We could have shot at multiple Jakes.
With the
times.
bow.
Yep.
And then obviously with a gun, we for sure would have had some shots at Toms too. Yeah. So
we were kind of counting back. There's probably 4 opportunities that you could have killed them with a gun.
Yep. And so, but again, it's like what you just said, if you make that decision, you got to stay true to yourself.
Absolutely.
And that's a part of me feels guilty about it, but a part of me feels
guilty.
It feels like that was my goal. And I don't think I would have been near as happy if I would have A, shot a Jake with my bow, or B, shot one with a shotgun. I don't know why. I just really wanted to shoot one with the bow. So,
dude, listen, I carried a recurve bow.
Yeah.
To Alaska multiple times.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and came home with nothing.
Yeah.
Came home with some misses, right?
Yeah.
Believe me, I get you.
Yeah,
you just have to do it how you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. You just kind of get that mindset, Yeah.
And
but no, it's been really good. I feel like I've learned a ton this year, just kind of with how like it felt like last year was like, it was my first year really hunting. I wasn't even hunting, I was just filming, but like I saw some stuff last year that was just like, holy cow, like this is insane, like this is awesome. And I think it was really good to have the year that we had, because this feels like a more kind of almost like a realistic year. Like you kind of had the struggles and like,
well, like I talked about that last year to you.
Yeah.
I mean, there was times, you would last year you'd be like, man, I just want to have one strut in. I'm like, oh, it'll happen. Like,
Yeah.
We'll. But then there was times last year where things were happening where we were really in the middle of a bunch of turkeys, and then toms were just like, just coming, just kind of barreling in, just really strutting right in on the decoys. And I looked at you multiple times, and I'm like, hey man, it doesn't always work out this way.
Yeah.
And this year was definitely a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
The disclaimer is it's tougher in the way that I turkey hunt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the big thing to say is that there's different styles of hunting when it comes to especially when it comes to turkeys.
Yeah.
I almost exclusively hunt with a bow in a blind.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's conducive for me, for myself. You know what I mean? You can get away with a lot of movement. You know what I mean? Especially very conducive hunting with my kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what I do. So when I say that to say that, I'm not doing a lot of running and gunning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's not that we haven't done that.
Yeah.
We've had a couple times over the last couple weeks that we've had birds in fields in spots where it's like, hey, we can go get down in this coulee, as Nick would say. Cut, ravine,
draw.
Coulee. Hey, it's called a coulee.
Yeah, we just ran up through that coulee, pop up on that hill.
Not a coulee. But anyway, that's exactly what we did.
Yeah.
We got down in a cut and then just worked it around and then snuck up over belly crawled. Oh, there they are. Mm-hmm. And and it just didn't work out.
Yeah.
Even just the other day, we did it with I have a Killer Gear turkey fan.
Yep.
Like a Tom fan. Got behind that, worked all the way across that field. That Tom 100% saw us.
Yeah.
And it seems like with those fans, and I've had it work. Where it's like, holy cow, we just killed that bird because of that thing.
Yeah.
Then other times, they really like it and they don't mind it. And then you get inside that little bubble.
Yeah.
And then they're like, boop, see ya.
A little aggressive.
Could have killed it with a gun. Mm-hmm. With that fan, we would have killed that bird with a gun. Like, would have been dead.
Yeah.
But trying to get him in a position and try to draw the bow and all that, it's just hard.
Yeah.
So it's not that I always sit in a blind. There are times when we kind of do other things. But the way I hunt, it pretty much is in a ground blind, over decoys, you know what I mean? Trying to call birds in and trying to get them in a position where it's a high percentage shot with a gun with the kids or with a bow, mostly for anybody that's hunting with me.
Yeah.
And so for us, with that style of hunting, it has been a very tough year.
Yeah.
I say that it's been a very tough year when I have Mount Everest high expectations, right? Like I go into the season hoping to kill Jet kill 2, Bo kill 1, you kill 1, I kill 1, you maybe kill another, my brother-in-law Justin kills 1. Like I want everybody to kill turkeys.
Yeah.
So I have very high expectations.
Yeah.
A lot of people listening to this might go, so let me get this straight. Your boy Jet killed 1 the first Saturday of youth season. Well, yeah, nice, Tom. Yeah, okay, 20-some pounder. Yep. And then you went out the next Saturday and your daughter, Bo, and your nephew, Marshall, doubled up on Jake's. Had 5 Jakes walking, you killed 2 of them. Yeah. And then, season 2, 3 were pretty tough, slow going.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden in 4th season, you take Jet out for the first time.
Yeah.
He went with me and you a couple times.
Yep.
Went out the first time again as the hunter with a 4th season tag. Has 2 toms, just come barreling in. You kill that 21 pounder.
Yep.
Huge spurs, 1.25 spurs,
Yep.
big old rope of a beard. Well, yeah. So you already killed 4. It's like, well, yeah. So it's not that we haven't had a good year, but I was hoping for more.
Yeah.
And the way that we hunt in a blind, it's been really tough.
Yeah.
I think that before the season started, I think we thought that the season was going to play out earlier than later.
Yeah, definitely.
Last year you heard me talk about on the podcast, I've said this before, you talk about that sweet spot. Mm-hmm. That spot when it just feels like you are just in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You're just like, golly, they're gobbling good, they're running around, they're coming to calls, they're chasing hens, They're coming to the decoys. They're just doing everything that you want them to do. It's like the epitome of turkey season. Jakes are hassling around. They're coming into the deeks. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels like you're in it.
Yeah.
We haven't felt that.
No.
Didn't feel that during youth season. We didn't really feel that during first, second, third. It just felt like, it's like, gosh, what's going on?
Yeah.
Again, the style that we hunt. If you were running and gunning, you would have felt like the season was working out just fine because you can hear them, you can make a move, you can spot and stalk, you can get real close to them.
Yeah.
We heard guys killing birds during season 1, 2, 3 while we were sitting a blind, right?
Yeah.
I mean, opening day, boom!
Yeah.
200 yards away from us. Woohoo!
Calling a bird in.
Yep.
That he would for sure coming to us. It felt
yeah.
like.
And it's just that's the nature of the beast. Last Saturday when Jet killed his, you went to one spot, Jet and I went to another.
Yeah.
You text me, hey man, looking good, here we go, baby. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, great, awesome. Sure enough, that bird's coming, and a guy on the neighboring property
Yeah.
killed him. 100% killed him. We could hear him from where we were.
Yeah, I had this was probably my favorite hunt of the entire year, even though it didn't work out, but it was my first time ever hunting by myself, turkey hunting. So it was my first time calling, so I was clueless, completely clueless. I had no idea what I was doing. But
Well, you weren't completely because you've been listening to me. It's like I've been trying to do the whole, Karate Kid, like wax on, wax off.
Obviously, I've been with Cole a lot. I've picked up a ton of things from Cole, like what to do in certain situations. Well, heard some toms gobbling off in the distance.
It's still one of those things when it's like all of a sudden you're like, in that situation for me, I think this thought that always comes to my head is I go, well, here we go.
Yeah, that's literally. I'm like, okay,
I guess the time is now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I guess I'm gonna start calling.
Yeah. So right away it sounded like 2 or 3 toms probably gobbling straight to my west, like decently far away. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, all of a sudden I heard a bird fly down like really close, and I thought that it was gonna fly into the field, but it didn't. But then instantly it was a hen. She started yelping and cutting. So I'm like, Cole kind of told me, like, if you hear that, to try and copy them, kind of mimic it.
Copy them, kind of try to cut it off.
Yep.
A lot of times it's that lead hen that will yelp and cut like that. Like she's kind of running the show. All of a sudden you kind of interrupt her. You kind of cut her off.
Yep.
You're kind of talking back to her. She doesn't like that. So she comes in.
Yep. Exactly.
That's how I rationalize it.
Yeah. Yep. And so I did just that. I
See, so then you decided to start calling, but did you go to a mouth call or did you go to a slate call?
I did the mouth call. I tried the slate call right away, but I'm not very good. I'm not too confident with it yet. Sometimes I could get it to sound really good. Sometimes I can't. That morning I couldn't. So I used my mouth call, and I just did kind of what I've learned from Cole, is like try cutting her off, and it was working really good. You could tell she was getting really agitated. She was cutting at me really, really hard. So I would cut back at her. And then one of the times she was cutting, and that one of the toms just hammered back, like cut her off. I'm like, oh, here we go. That happened like 2 or 3 more times, and every time that tom was closer and closer. Then for it was probably like 5 minutes, it was kind of quiet, and all of a sudden, like real close to me, just boom, woo!
We were a mile away and we could hear him yelling.
Yeah,
which I can't blame the guy because I'm a hoop and holler. I'm terrible.
I didn't care one bit.
I mean, I let everybody know.
Yeah.
Not because I'm trying to let everybody know, but I just get excited.
Yeah, I mean, selfishly, I was a little upset, but it's like whatever, you know. But yeah, so I mean, definitely had that tom playing the game and just kind of brought him right into that other guy.
And he just so happened to be. It's funny because obviously in the morning you don't know where guys are setting up.
Yeah.
So you just so happen to set up on this field. We call it the hump.
Yep.
It's just like this little hump of the field where you can kind of see off both directions real good. If they see the deeks, they'll probably come in. And this guy just so happened to set up kind of between you and in this thicket.
Yeah.
And it just so where he happened to set up was in between where that bird was roosted and where you were calling.
Yeah, I think.
And he literally just walked right by him.
Yeah, I think how it worked was it was me, the hen, the other guy, and then the tom. And once that hen started going, I think that tom just came right by him. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, it was like crazy how different like the morning just felt just with me calling kind of.
Yep.
And it was a super good experience, and it was a heck of a lot of fun, man. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Then of course that was the day that Jet shot a great bird, so that was fun too.
Yeah.
We were in earshot distance. Obviously I couldn't hear you calling or nothing like that, but I heard the shot and everything and instantly got on the phone. It was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, and the way that the turkey season had been playing out, it felt it felt just like, gosh, come on, get
Yeah.
going. You know, I talked about it on a previous podcast about how turkey season kind of feels like a motor revving up,
Yeah.
and it revs and it revs, and you hope that you kind of hit that real rev, vroom, vroom, and it's like, but it just felt like it never got to that steady idle pace.
Yeah, it felt like it was at a low idle.
Yeah, and the funny thing is even that morning, Jet and I got set up, got in there early. Well, the other story to tell is, before I get to that, is
Oh yeah.
facing a little adversity.
Yeah.
Golly.
Yep.
So, man, I'm usually pretty good about not forgetting stuff. But I don't know how I forgot it. I forgot the tripod.
Yeah.
I have a Bog Pod Death Grip
Yeah.
tripod. And man, that thing's handy.
Yeah.
It's carbon fiber. It's a little bit lighter. It's still a little heavy, but it's nice.
Yeah.
You can really set it up, get a good foundation. It's got like a U-clamp. It just clamps right down on the gun. Man, it's nice. It's great for the kids.
Yeah.
It's great for when we hunt too. I mean, it came in handy huge on that late muzz hunt. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
It's just nice.
Yeah.
I got it. I thought, well, it'd be great for that. If I wanted a coyote hunt and predator hunt with it, it'd be great for that. It's just a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgot it at home.
Yeah.
Jeez, we were about, 2/3 of the way there when I remembered.
Yeah.
So here I am driving down the road, and there's a piece that we have permission for, like on the way to where we were going. So I stopped right there, and I just ran into the woods 10, 20 yards and just found a branch
Yeah.
that had a little bit of a U and had my Leatherman cut it. And I'm like, well, this is going to have to make do. Like, here
Yeah,
we go.
exactly.
I cut it long, and I thought, well, we'll cut it down when we get in the blind. So Jet's looking at me like, he's like kind of like looking at me like, where's the tripod? And I was like, I forgot it, man.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, like, well, what are we going to do? I'm like, I cut a stick. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So it kind of had that going, where it's not like I had the gun on the tripod. I was like, in my brain, it's like one less thing I kind of have to worry about. Now I've got to have this stick, and I've got to have the gun in there, and I'm kind of holding it all, and then he's shouldering the gun, and he's got to do his thing, but I got to make sure that the stick doesn't fall. And so that I was kind of all worried about that, and I cut it the right length, but whatever. It's like, okay, here we go. So we got out there in the morning, and the turkeys, like they do in the spring, they've been gobbling really good on the roost, really good.
Really good.
You can hear the toms come down, and it's like, okay, now they're gobbling on the ground. And that morning for us, same thing as you. Hens really carrying on, yelping.
Yeah.
You could hear putting and purring, sound like they were kind of fighting. It sounded like Jakes were kind of, rubbernecking each other, kind of just carrying on. Like, couldn't see any of it, but could hear it.
Yeah.
Well, the toms gobble closer and closer and closer, and I'm like, jackpot. You know what I mean? I mean, you can hear them when they're on the roost. You can hear them when they're down, and you can hear them if they're closer or farther away. It sounded like they're getting closer. But just like they've done all season, they just don't want to commit.
Yeah.
Not that we haven't had them commit, because we had one commit for Jet early.
Yeah.
But besides that, it's a funny thing. Again, my disclaimer is we're getting them to commit to like 50 to 100 yards.
Yeah.
But we can't get them to commit to 50 in.
Yeah.
It's like that. If you've ever seen that movie, the movie Hitch with Will Smith, it's like the 90-10 rule. If like you're kissing, you can come 90, but they got to come 10.
Yeah.
Inherently, when I'm sitting in a ground blind turkey hunting with the kids or archery hunting, I'm trying to get that turkey to come all 100. So you know what I'm saying? I really am.
Yeah.
And that's part of why they just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I get it. So it's conducive to hunt the sweet spot.
Yeah.
So, but the sweet spot doesn't last the whole time.
Right.
But I just felt like we couldn't get in that sweet spot.
No.
And so all of a sudden this morning is like, they come in and then they hang up. I'm like, ugh. Like I told you, I'm like, gosh, I don't think they can get any closer. How they can get so close and gobble within 100 yards, but we can't see them? Like, this is insane.
Yeah.
They just know where to go.
Yeah.
And they just wouldn't commit. They wouldn't even come onto the field to see. And I'm like, come on, guy.
Yeah.
Well, then, of course, they gobble again, just a little farther away. Then gobble again, quite a bit farther away. Gobble again, okay, you're going the other way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times, toms will be like a boomerang, right? They'll you kind of throw that boomerang, it goes out to as far as it wants to go, and then it'll come all the way back. And so it's like, well, you I don't know if I've ever talked about this, but I feel like I experienced that 8 to 9 o'clock lull where all of a sudden it just gets like, do the turkeys even live here?
Yeah, yeah.
Like they were gobbling real good. Where'd they go?
Yeah.
They just stop. And that's what they did. Just got real slow. And so Jet always jokes about taking his magic nap.
Yeah.
which is in the years past has been one of those things where he'll finally get where he'll get tired. I'm like, all right, buddy, lay down. I got a blanket for him. He'll fall asleep, but won't be asleep for 10 minutes. And there's a turkey.
Yeah.
Well, he tried to take his magic nap. That didn't work. So then it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. We're just sitting there. It's like, do. Well, a lot of times what I like to do, like if I have time, like on a weekend to hunt later in the morning, man, what I'll do is I will really jump on the call again.
Yeah.
I will start with just some good, not super loud yelps. Usually try to call quieter and then get louder as you go. Sometimes it's tricky because like if you just call loud right off the bat and a turkey's close, you can scare them away.
Yeah.
So start out pretty quiet, yelping, but I did this big long sequence of yelping, getting louder on the yelps, then started cutting, and then just a couple putts, and then purr, and then yelp and cut and yelp cut, and really getting after it. I mean, I kind of joke, I call it throwing the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
So I kind of did my kitchen sink calling, and I really put it out there. I'm like, okay, here we go. Looked at my clock. I'm like, all right, let's give it 5 minutes. You know what I mean? 5-10 minutes. So I kind of decided, I'm like, and I do this kind of multiple times. So then I did it again. I really got into it. Well, all of a sudden, one gobbles off. I mean, it was like, gobble, gobble, gobble. You're like, and Jet's like, Jet's got, young ears. So he's like, he's like, I heard one. I'm like, and I can always count on him on those ones because I heard it barely.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, let's just give it a little bit. So again, 5-10 minutes goes by. I'm like, all right, here we go. I yelp, cut. Boom, he cuts me off half as far away.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, baby, jackpot. I'm like, all right, that's good. And that's a juggling act. Do you call? Do you wait?
Right.
It's like if they're really cutting back like that and they're cutting you off, it's like, okay, all right. Like I don't like you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
We had that with that one last year. We kind of played the game with him. You know what I mean? Like we were calling, but we were just kind of trying to match him. You know what I mean? And sometimes they'll start gobbling more than you'll start yelping. Sometimes you kind of answer back to their gobble.
Yeah.
I feel like we were always behind the 8 ball, calling behind them. You know what I mean? A lot of the before this in the season where they just weren't cutting us off real good.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden I'm like, all right, this is good. Like I'm more kind of feel like I'm in the driver's seat. So I look at my clock, 5-10 minutes goes by. I pick up my call again. And I was just going to call, and I looked over, and boom, there they were on the field. Both red hot, as hot and as red as they could get. I mean, it literally looked like you could touch their face, and you were like, oh, that's blood.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It was like, it's insane how red their head can get when they really wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, holy guacamole.
Yeah.
Well, there was 2 of them. There was 2 Toms and 2 Jakes. Well, Jet is kind of laying on the floor watching Jumanji or something on my phone. and I was kind of debating, I'm like, when do I get him to stand up? Like, I've kind of got this whole season worth of this not working out.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I was like, well, let's wait till we see something. Like, I can still move him around if I have to. Well, I look over and there those Toms are. And, the adrenaline dump, like in that moment, like, which is my favorite part, just kind of hits me. And I reach down and I grab Jet by the jacket. I just pull him up with one hand and set him down. And he knew right away. He's like, he's grabbing his headphones, putting his headphones on, We've got these like Walker Game Ear silencing headphones, And so I get them all set up. I get the stick, get the gun. We're already, I'm loaded, cocked, safety off. Here we go, Jet. Finger off the trigger. Here we go. And they just came marching in. Well, there's a Tom that we've been after called Little Bear Broken Feather.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And Little Bear Broken Feather, by the time this airs, he's probably still going to be alive.
Probably.
I don't know year to year. I would love to know if they break feathers. I think they get new ones. I don't know.
I have no idea.
I don't know either. That would be really fun, something fun to research. Anyway, Little Bear Broken Feather was there. He's got a couple broken tail fan feathers on his left side. They're like cocked forward.
Yeah.
So when he fans out, he's got like his first one that he's missing a couple. He looks like a gangster.
Yeah, it looks all kind of.
Yeah, he's kind of got a wimpy name, Little Bear Broken Feather, but still.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like being named Sue. If you're named Sue, you're probably tough.
Yeah, exactly.
Little Bear Broken Feather, you don't mess with him.
No.
Nobody. Big old beard, big old spurs. He's a big guy.
Yeah.
Well, find out. Here's another one just with him. You could tell that they almost looked at each other like, you know what? We've tried to fight. We can't decide who's the boss. So how about we just hang together?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a lot of times when you get a big dominant bird on the field, We saw that the other day. You'll have one bird that's a dominant bird, and when he gobbles, everybody else quiets way down.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep.
And his gobble's long. You can hear him real good. And then all the other times just kind of like, you're cool. And they stay away and they don't strut. Well, these two were like, they were just like, okay, let's just be equals.
Yeah.
So they both just came barreling in, just strutting in. I mean, it almost looked like they were holding their breath the whole time.
Yeah.
Just, you know,
Yeah.
they came in. Well, they came in completely lined up. So I'm like, hold on, Jet. We only got one tag. Don't shoot both of them, you know? Well, then right as they got to the deeks, Little Bear took a step back, just half a step, full step behind, and the other one kind of stepped forward and let him have it, Jet. And he just drilled him. Done.
Yep.
And just like that, I mean, it's crazy. He's been a lucky little sucker. That's 8 toms in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
It's just like, I told him, I'm like, Jet, you have no idea. And it was just kind of wild to see. He hunted one day during youth season. He hunted a couple days with us just to be along.
Yeah.
And then he hunted one day. So he's really only hunted 2 days and killed 2 toms.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then you've hunted more times than we can count on 2 hands.
Yeah.
And we just can't get you in front of one.
I know.
I mean, that happened to Bo. She hunted this was her 3rd year of turkey hunting, and she'd never shot turkey.
Right.
Jet had killed 6 in that time.
Yeah.
It's just weird how you just, so the moral of the story of all this is that was last weekend, which would have been May
4th. May the 4th be with you, Daniel-san.
But the moral of the story is that I feel like what we started to feel is that sweet spot where all of a sudden they're callable. And this is just north central Iowa, you know what I mean? And how we're trying to hunt where they really are wanting to pot commit and they're really starting to just be fired up going everywhere. That was what we saw. And since then, we've kind of seen the same thing. We're just all of a sudden, it's like, okay, now there's toms gobbling everywhere. They're coming down. They're running all over the place.
Yeah.
And you're also starting to see the hens. Obviously, they've been bred and they're starting to get their point where they're like, okay, let's try to find a place to nest. So the hens will kind of start to, they don't want anything to do with them.
Yeah.
Well, when they don't want anything to do with them, the toms, they're still ready to rock and roll. So then there becomes this even more sense of desperation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just weird how this season has played out. Like you said, last year was kind of more of the epitome of how it usually happens.
Yeah.
Youth season could be real good because it's like you kind of have the first crack at calling at them. And then first, second, third can be real good. Hence why they're a little bit shorter seasons. You know what I mean? And like guys will really pound them down.
Yeah.
And we saw second into third last year just be like that spot.
Yeah, it was so fun.
Oh, man. But this year, it feels like it's happening the last week.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like what we're seeing here is there's going to be toms strutting and carrying on, and you could call at them into June.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? But so, yeah, it's interesting that it's a little bittersweet that all of a sudden now, right at the end of the season, it's like I just talked to my brother Justin. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know if you have a chance to get out, but if I were you, I would get out because we're in it now.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt like that before now. I just didn't feel like we were in the middle of that.
Yeah.
We were, again, if you were just a gun hunter, you would have been, pretty red and happy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But for us, it's like trying to really get them to come in on the deeks.
Yeah.
It's just now I feel like this is the time.
Yeah, definitely.
And so, it's going to be interesting.
Yep.
Just a couple days left.
Yep. One more crack at it.
Yep. One more crack. But no, yeah, like I said, it has been a fun year. And I think too, like we talked about at the beginning, I think you hang your hat on the idea that you hunt as hard the last day as you did the first day. Mm-hmm. And I think with that said as well, there will be no regrets, right?
Yeah.
Like if you don't get one, man, it's not from a lack of trying.
Yeah, exactly.
And when you do get one, it'll make it that much sweeter. I mean, we could play that video. I just took a recovery video on my phone after Bo got hers, and just to see the excitement and all that. And she talked about having hunted for 3 years and not got one, and it just felt she was so happy.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it'll make it that much sweeter when it does work out.
Yeah.
And so it's just what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Pick it up hold on a second. Here. You pick it up like this. Reach it over. You grab its by the feet. Pick it up. Pick it up real high. There you go. Look at that one. Pick that thing up there, Bobo.
Okay.
There you go. Let's do that. No, come on.
I'm happy for you, Bobo.
Now I need to get Nick a turkey.
Yes, we do. But the bigger thing we need to talk about is, there's a mullet watch. I've just been, I'm getting the vibe. There's people out there that are on a mullet watch. They don't even as much maybe listen to the podcast. They just look at the thumbnail or watch maybe one micro clip and see that the mullet is still flying, which means the turkeys haven't been dying.
If I have to keep this mullet for another year,
Let's just give us a little flash of it. Come on, give us a little flash. Come on, stretch.
It looks bad right now.
Stretch your stuff. Come on, give us a little shake. Give me a little shimmy shake. Wow.
it looks bad right now.
Listen.
I need to clean up the sides.
Okay. Just for the record. No. Leave the hat off. Just leave the glorious. Oh, come on. Listen, hey, we need to put the video on here right now. I know that you think that your mullet doesn't look good, but we went fishing a couple Mondays ago. What do you call your boat?
Wes.
Oh, yeah, Wes. So Walt, Nick's dad,
Who's really named Chris.
or as Nick would say, Dad. Dad let him bring the boat down. Not my dad, but Dad. But hey, we did find out that that's not just a Wisconsin thing. So my buddy Josh said that. Remember, he was talking about his mom and dad. And he goes, "Oh yeah, mom and dad."
Oh yeah.
No, you didn't even catch it.
No, I definitely did, but I didn't want to say anything.
You did?
I 100% got it.
Oh,
but
I didn't think you did.
No, I did.
No, but anyway, so Walt let Nick bring down Wes, which basically in normal English terms means his dad, whose real name's Chris, let him bring their boat down to Iowa. Brought the boat down to do a little jigging.
Yeah.
Which we didn't jig on much anything. We just got stuck on a bunch of weeds.
Yeah.
But nobody's fault. There was a bunch of guys out there. It didn't look like anybody's catching anything. You can always tell when guys aren't catching fish because the boats aren't out there very long. We saw boats, then we saw boats ripping back to the launches. But anyway, so a couple times we kind of just you just put the pedal down, you rip across the lake.
Yeah.
Video right here of your glorious mullet waving in the air. For a minute, I thought that your mullet was an American flag.
I watched the video and I was kind of disappointed.
What?
It was a little matted.
Literally,
it was a little matted down in the back.
No, listen. It's not matted down. It's not matted down. You know what the theme song of your mullet is? I'm gonna play it for you right now. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
This is what when I saw your mullet flying in the air, this is what I thought of. Okay, hold on a second. We had to get past an ad. But there was something when that mullet, when you put the pedal down on Wes and you literally let him eat, and we were going across that calm water at about what, 26, 28?
No, like probably 38.
Okay, sorry, 38. This is what came to mind. When you started ripping across the lake, that calm water, with Wes going about 38,
This is
and that mullet was blowing in the wind, I thought for a second that your mullet transformed into an American flag. And this is the song that I heard in my head. I could have levitated in the air. I was so mesmerized. This is what I heard in my head. Wave it up. Come on, wave it. Wave the mullet. Come on.
Where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave this mullet to me.
Next to your mullet. I'm just telling you, man. I don't know why.
We got two forms of copyright in this video.
Yeah, we're sorry, copyright people. You just have to put it in there. It's too good. But dude, I'm just saying that. I don't know. Listen, I would wear that mullet as a badge of honor for the next 12 months if you don't kill a turkey in the next couple days. Because you know what? I'm just saying, man, that thing is going to be, it just gets more glorious by the day. When that thing is flopping in the wind, it is really something. And you know what? That is like, the minute you step out in the woods, you're telling everybody, guess what? I'm not messing around. That's what you're telling.
I'm fine with the mullet.
The deer are going to know you're not messing around.
I'm fine with the mullet. I don't mind. I've never had really long hair, and I don't really mind it too bad. But it's starting to get to a point where it's really uncomfortable.
Listen, I've got 2 words for you. I got 2 words for you. I'm putting up one finger. I'll put up 2. You know what I'm going to say?
Perm it. Perm that mullet. You go to a salon and you perm that thing.
Perm it, baby. You need to perm it. You need to just get a little higher and tighter. That's what you need to do.
I don't know. The worst part about it is it's going to really suck to have it grow out another year to not even really have a chance. That one, that's going to suck.
But here's
I
the
would
thing.
I would wear it more proudly if I was wearing it because I missed one or something.
Oh, dude, I would listen. You just wear it because hey, listen. It is what it is. Hadn't been from lack of trying. Bet's a bet. Dude, that mullet 12 months from now, oh my gosh, we're going to have a mullet watch. And maybe like once a month, we might have to like have you stand up and we might have to put a mark on the wall, like of where the mullet is, how far it's grown. Like your height, but the length of the mullet.
Yeah.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. We might have to
Be
get
awesome for you.
Dude, I saw a thing where people took a tape measure and they spray painted the tape measure and then they put lines where their kids were as they were getting taller. Maybe we should do that. We should go buy a new tape measure, spray paint it, and then draw a line of where the mullet is growing at the dates.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's going to be awesome. Man. Dude, that mullet in a perm is going to look even better. I do think... I don't know. I think I still kind of feel this way, but I felt like last week when we were really in the tough, tough when turkey hunting couldn't do anything right. It's like, and that's turkey hunting, right? Like sometimes you just feel like you'd be like a world-class caller. You just can't call them in. Like they just don't do anything that you're supposed to do. But I felt like you a little bit more worried about having your mullet than you were about the excitement to kill a turkey.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because it's like, now it's to the point now it's like, what am I do for Christmas mass? Put it in a damn pony?
If you put your hair in a ponytail, I swear, I will spit in my hand. I will slap you across the face.
Well, it's like, golly.
No, dude,
It's
listen.
getting to be like, I'm freaking out about it because like.
You sport that thing like
It's like, it's
you
gonna
sport
be
that
too
thing
long
like
to sport it, though.
No, dude, no, it's not. You sport that thing like a tan leather coat. You just wear it proudly. Doesn't matter if it's hot outside. You put that leather coat on and you wear it.
It's gonna be. That's the thing. Like I'm totally cool with the mullet, but it's like already getting to the point where I wish I could just chop a little off because I can just feel it constantly.
You can't chop it. You just have to perm it. Just perm it up. You go to the salon and we're gonna find a gal or a guy. Maybe guys do perms too, like male salon hair cutter people. I'm sorry, I'm murdering whatever they're actually called, stylists or whatever. But you tell them you want the tightest curl you can get. You want it tight, like super tight. Like so you can like pick it out like an afro.
Yeah.
You want it tight. You know what? That could be a new thing. You could have a mullet that doesn't even go down, it just goes straight back.
Yeah.
Oh. But hey, listen. But here's the thing. Here's the other thing. I think that there was a thought at the beginning of the season that I was going to try to sabotage the season to try to not let you kill one so that the mullet could keep raging on. But for the record, I have hunted extremely hard.
I know. Hey, one could
And
make the argument.
never even brought my bow and gotten up a lot of early mornings. So many that Tatum the other day, you know what she told me? You know what she said to me? We were like, it was like, you know, we're watching TV and she's like, so when's turkey season over? She's like, enough's enough. And I'm like, babe, we got a few more days. Like, just give me a few more days.
Dude, it just has been just making me so mad. Cola's gone hunting 5 times without me and killed 4 birds.
I know.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
how? Like,
I know, it
it's
is weird.
It's me. It's 100% me.
Oh, would you shut up?
It's all me.
Listen, I'm gonna get
Same
you.
thing with last-
I'm gonna get you
same thing
some
with deer
I'm gonna
season,
get
too.
you some cheese for your wine, you big baby. Boo hoo. Play the violin. It's not you. It's just the way it's working out.
It's not you.
It's just how it works out. It's kind of like the curse of the Bambino. But you know what? Guess, I don't even know what the curse of the Bambino, who that stands for. The Red Sox. Guess who won World Series how many years ago? And have won multiple World Series since then. Who? Red Sox.
Yeah.
Curse Bambino, there's no curse. It's just the way it's working out. I'll tell you what, though, I feel good about it. I feel good. I think there's still opportunity. We're going to keep hunting hard. I think we got a chance.
Yeah.
I really do. I think there could be a chance. Pulling out all the stops.
Yeah, I got to make it happen.
Yep. All right. Well, listen. This has been a good pod. I felt good about it. I think that was great that we did a turkey memorial at the beginning. It is sad that season's over, but you know what season over means? You know what that means? Guess what season's next?
Deer season.
Deer season, baby. So that's a good thing. When one thing ends, when one door closes, another door opens.
Yeah, exactly.
Deer season door is an opening, but guess what? Might be putting the hand on the handle a little bit, turning the knob a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just seeing if the door's locked.
Yeah, it'll be here really quick.
Yep. All right. Episode 54 in the books. Ozonics Killerwinds podcast. Thanks for listening. Hope you had a good turkey season. I'm Nick Simon. That's Cole Tanner. Thanks for watching.
See you next week, folks.
Stay classy.